Yo, what's going on, guys? This is your boy Trillionaire Mac. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down a day trade that I took this morning on EURUSD. All right, I told all of my clients and all of my students on yesterday that I was going to be day trading this morning. I haven't day traded in quite some time, actually, especially with last week being the holidays and things like that. I've pretty much just been sticking to the higher time frame. But here you can see that we did take a day trade. I'm going to break this entire trade down for you guys. From top to bottom, go over my confluences based off of the intraday time frame, my entry based off of the lower time frame, and overall just, help you all understand why I took this trade. All right. Now, if you're not a part of the YouTube family, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. Leave a like on this video if you find value in this video as well. All right, hit that bell notification icon to be updated whenever I upload a new video. Also, the last video we uploaded is talking about the Cyber Monday sale. A lot of you guys have taken advantage of that, all right? So if you have not checked out that video yet, but you want to take advantage of the sale that we have going on, feel free to go check that video out. Use the coupon code, use the sale, things like that, all right? So with that being said, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. All right, so based on the M15 time frame, so this was an intraday trade, right? So it was simply it was based off of a smaller time frame. Based on the H4 time frame, okay, I'm not going to go over this too much, but based on the H4 time frame, we are anticipating that price is going to push to the downside, okay? Now, like I said, I'm not going to get into it too much because I did go over an analysis with my clients within the trading community, within the Telegram channel, as well as my students, okay? So they know exactly how far we're looking to push down before we look to push back to the upside. All right, but one thing about it is I want you guys to understand that you don't necessarily need the H4 time frame, things like that, in order to intraday trade. All right, when it comes to higher time frame, of course, higher time frame trend is always going to be your friend, but you can still counter trend trade on the lower time frames if you do it properly, right? So, I mean, with this trade here, okay, we're simply catching a retracement on the H4 time frame. All right, based on how I view the market. So it was, it was really straightforward to take advantage of substructure that's pushing to the downside, that's counter trend based on the H4 time frame. All right. So if we're looking at EURUSD on the M15, we can see that price created this high here. Okay, and then we took out that high with price pushing to the downside here. All right. Once we push to the downside, we can see that price tapped into some type of demand with this move to the downside here, and then we pushed back to the upside. Okay. When we push to the upside, all right, let's actually go to the 5-minute time frame. I just want to zoom into this area really quickly because now I'm thinking of something. I want to make sure. Okay, interesting. All right. So once price taps into this demand here, right, I saw this rejection here. All right, and now this entire analysis that I have here was simply just marked up this morning. I normally wake up at 6 a.m. A lot of you guys ask me for my trading schedule, so here it goes. Usually I prepare my charts the night before, but if I don't have time to prepare my charts the night before, or if, I wasn't planning on day trading, so I just didn't prepare my charts for day trading, then what I'll do is I'll wake up at 6 a.m. So waking up at 6 a.m., that was around this area here, I believe. Yeah, like right here. So we had already tapped into this zone here. All right, now we're going to go to the lower time frame to go over my entry here. All right, but I want to right now I'm just explaining to you guys when I woke up in the morning, basically what was going through my mind. All right, so we can see that price. Let's get rid of this really quick. Okay, so we see that price taps into this zone here, then pushes to the upside. So we interact with demand, we push to the upside, and price creates some type of supply. Then what happens? Then price starts to make its way to the downside. We did have a second interaction. Okay, price pushed to the upside, and then price actually came back to this area before pushing to the downside. So even if, let's say, you were active within the market here on the 29th. Okay, you could have actually caught this push to the downside, which wouldn't have been bad at all. So this took place earlier this morning around like 12 a.m. All right, and price pushed to the downside. Then what happens? So we have equal highs here. Okay, anytime you guys see equal highs, remember that always means that there is some type of liquidity. Okay, that is going to possibly attract price later. So we can see that it does end up attracting price. Price fills this void that we have here. We do have a slight liquidity void here, right? That price pushes to the upside, closes that void, sweeps this liquidity, and then taps into the supply that was responsible for taking out our previous demand here. Now we know that this is a valid level of demand simply because price interacts with supply here, Okay, if you scroll back just a little bit, all right, based on this supply that I have marked up here. Okay, so price interacts with that. Oh, wrong one. This here, excuse me. All right. So price interacts with this supply, pushes to the downside, demand comes into the market, and then we finally push to the upside to take out that supply zone, right? Let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of this. So now that we have the M15 time frame all broken down, we can kind of go into our M1. Okay, what happens when price taps into this area within my valid trading time? All right, so this is my M1 time frame. Okay, essentially I'm looking at what happens when price taps into my higher time frame M15 zone here. Okay, so we can see that essentially we're just looking for our entry confluences at this point. All right, guys, so before we actually get into the trade, I actually forgot to insert the screenshot of me in this trade. So I'm gonna insert this now before we start the analysis, and then we'll get into the analysis. All right, so here's the trade. Okay, I posted it on my Instagram story for those of you who follow me on Instagram. Okay, I mean, as you guys can see, if we go to the M15, because I think that's when this image was taken. No, this was actually on the M5, actually. Right, so this was the trade here, and this was my entry here. All right, so now with that being said, let's get into the video, right, on the M1 time frame. So we have our sweep of liquidity here with this push to the upside. Okay, then we have a change of momentum within the market, and price takes out this supply as well, right there. Let me actually zoom in just a little bit for you guys. Just so we can get into the nitty-gritty of things. All right, so perfect. So price taps into this higher time frame zone. Okay, we create these instigated highs here. What does price do? Price essentially sweeps those highs. We know that we have some type of demand that comes into the market here. Okay, this is a doji candlestick that takes place before price ends up sweeping these highs here. So that was demand that came into the market. All right, if you guys are having trouble with reading supply and demand, feel free to check out my supply and demand content within the YouTube channel. Okay, probably maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, I uploaded exactly how I look for supply and demand, things like that. Now, of course, things have definitely become refined over time. Okay, my mentorship students, you guys get the first dibs on any of the refined sauce. So do keep those things in mind. So here we can see we have some demand. Let's actually fix this just a little bit. It looks like it was, there we go. Okay, price pushes to the downside, interacts with this demand here, rejects, and then price pushes to the downside, taking out this demand, giving us a break of structure here. Overall, just giving us a change of momentum from this uptrend back to a possible downtrend. All right. Now, once we actually have this demand taken out here, my next question is, what was responsible for taking out this demand? Right? Like, what was responsible for that? Well, essentially, it was this supply here that comes into the market with this inside bar here. Okay. So what does price do? Price essentially creates all this liquidity here. We have this high here, we have this high here, we have this range here, okay, within price, where essentially we have a void on some type of time frame, whether it be the M15, or excuse me, the 15 second, the 5 second, the 30 second, something. Okay, but based on the 1 minute time frame, I can tell that there is some type of imbalance within this area here. Price comes close to that imbalance, rejection again, okay, just building a lot of liquidity within this area. We finally trade into that rejection, or into that void here. Price rejects again, and then we finally collect all of this liquidity here, and we tap into the supply that was responsible for giving us our demand failure here within our higher time frame valid intraday zone here. All right, so that's where I took my entry. Okay, essentially, I risked 1.5 pips. You guys know me. Now, we could have actually risked a little less, okay, on this trade. Okay, so we could have risked around 1.1. And my Instagram, I believe my Instagram post, I had moved my stop loss to 1.1 pips. But when this trade initially started, before I closed 1R on this trade, okay, I actually risked 1.5 pips. So yeah, that was my risk, 1.5 pips. You guys know I'm comfortable with it. And then my take profit was simply just based on the M15 time frame. Okay, I was simply just targeting this swing low here. We are flowing with trends right now with substructure. okay, for the main fact that we have a change of momentum on the M15 time frame going from that uptrend that you guys see previously over here to this downtrend that you guys see now. So with this substructure here, it is okay for us to target swing lows, all right, simply because we are flowing with our M15 structure. We're not going against M15 structure, and this was an M15 intraday trade anyway, so I'm really not looking to hold this position all the way down here. I may hold maybe 10%, maybe 15%. I've already closed around 20% of this trade, and then I'm really just looking to see what happens with price. If we can continue pushing to the downside, fantastic. If price reverses on us, then I'll just get taken out of that 20% position. All right. Let's see. What else? I believe that's it, really. Yeah, it was a really straightforward trade, collecting around 33 pips, risking around 1.5 pips, collecting around 21.4%. It was around 21% because I went risk-free and closed 1% at around 1 to 4. All right, around this area right here. All right, so not bad at all. Anyways, with that being said, much love for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. I definitely have you covered. All right, be sure to take advantage of the Cyber Monday sale that we have going on right now. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Much love. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.